everybody. My name is Mitchell,
Hi, I'm Bill.
and we are doing the Magic City Pagans Meetup / podcast.
Absolutely.
This is our August edition.
Yes, it is.
August. Wow. And so some things that are coming up. We do have Full Contact Tarot, August the 19th.
Yes.
We're taking signups for that. We're also has our Psychic Fair at September 30th, and that's a big thing. We usually end up selling out, so we've already been taking selling tickets for that. You're more than welcome to call or come by the shop and sign up. There are sign-up sheets for that, so you pick your time and who you want to reading with. Ellen Dugan will be our special guest, and that is going from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's a Saturday at September 30th. And me and Ellen will be teaching a class on September 29th, the Friday before.
I'm kind of stoked about that.
It's going to be good. It's magical salves, so we'll be doing all different kinds of things, and it's a workshop, actually, so it's not just a class. We'll be teaching you how to make things, and you'll be making things and taking home what you make.
That's the cool thing, is that you'll be able to actually leave the class with something that you made, or you sat, got the knowledge, applied it, and are able to take it home with you that evening.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I think it's a great class. And we are here live, well, as live as we can be, at Books, Beans, and Candles in Birmingham, Alabama.
And so let's talk about talismans and amulets.
And charms.
Charms.
Yes.
Yes, all those things that we wear or use in our spell crafting.
Okay.
So, and I imagine on Google, you can, for every person that says this, you'll find a person that says that.
Right.
All right. So the way we view it.
Now, keep in mind, this is how we view it.
Right. It's going to be, not saying it's the law, it's just how we view it and how we use it. Obviously, we think we're correct in our approach to this, or we wouldn't be doing it this way.
Right.
Okay.
But again, it is our opinion.
Right. So the nuts and bolts of an amulet is something you create, something you're going to work. It's like a spell, and it's to do a specific job, right? Whether it's protection or money or, fast luck, anything like that. Road openers,
right.
It can be very specific, where a talisman is more of a overall kind of energy. It's not necessarily
an overall
specific,
symbolic energy.
And the biggest difference is a talisman has its own egregore already built into it. It's not necessarily you've done it. You can also, like a higher power in a way. So if you take the pentacle, the cross, the ankh, the Star of David, these are all talismanic. They're talismans.
Yes.
All right. Many, many people believe in those. It has its own power, has its own energy, and is often associated to a higher cause, if you will, a universal power. Where your amulet is going to be more to the self.
Right.
Right.
And
so,
it is that is the spell or the purpose that has been encapsulated within something that holds a purpose for you. And it's much more on a personal level, whereas the talisman is much more on an international level.
Yeah, it's worldwide. So like, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, everybody, okay, it has its own.
You recognize that, you go, oh, okay,
right. So it has its own power within it because it has been recognized so much. It has so many people believe in it, like the pentacle. It has so many people believing in it that gives it power. So it becomes almost like, mass people believe in it. It builds its own egregore, becomes a universal energy that you can use.
Yeah, it's, and it's cyclical, so people, are constantly feeding energy into it as people are drawing on that, using that concept and that energy. People are, constantly putting back into it.
It can definitely be a protection symbol,
yes.
Because that's what you're working with. You're tapping into it at that time.
Right.
All right. Where an amulet, it can be a greedy bag, conjure bag. It can be a symbol I create, maybe in clay, and I break it when I want to use it, or I wear it. Okay, I'm going to go gambling, or I'm going to go do this, go job interview. So I'm going to wear this one for this specific purpose, and when I'm done with that, then I'm done with it.
A little travel protection jar.
Right. And that's really where we get like charms as well, because I view charms as like an amulet. It is a one and done kind of thing.
Absolutely. And by one and done, I mean it has a singular purpose, and once that purpose is fulfilled, it's over. You're done with it. I really like, as far as like when it comes to amulets, I think of, to me, stone magic. you're creating that stone for that specific spell, for that specific purpose,
Right.
and you are crushing it. And when it's, sending its energy out, because that visual works for me, and that's what, that helps me think about it.
And that's not to say you can't call upon a higher power to help charge your amulet.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just, if I create an amulet, you may not know what that does.
Right. Like, I don't know when Mitchell got this from upstairs, I don't know what this specific gree bag is for, but he does, and as he use it, when he would be, if he used it, when he was done with it, it goes away. Whereas I, see, as an outside person who has no idea what that is, wouldn't have a clue. So that would be very specific to Mitchell. Now, I can tell you by looking at it, I'd probably guess road opening simply because it's orange.
Right.
But,
and so like runes and owens. Now, runes, that's an interesting one because, we were having this discussion before we start. Would rune fall under talismanic or would it be an amulet? And that really, that's
a dealer's choice one, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we all know what this rune means.
Right.
So, well, I say all. People in the craft, much like the pentacle, they have an idea, so we all believe, okay, this is for success, this is for victory, that has its almost own egregore built into it because of what it represents, but yet I can take that and apply that into an amulet for especially if I take it and I start adding other stuff to it.
Or adding it to other stuff.
Right. Like this, we have
Absolutely.
Christopher Penczak's charm here, and it's for protection, and it has the pentacle in it, as you see. I don't know if you can see that well, guys, but it has a pentacle, so okay, there's our talisman energy, but now it also has runes into it in a certain pattern. And so now we're taking that, now it becomes, to me, it's no longer a talisman, although it has talismanic energy, it's more of an amulet. So I've taken that talismanic energy and applied it to my amulet. Amulets do not go, in my opinion, not go toward the talisman.
But
the talisman itself. So in this case, you have the rune, you have the pentacle, both talismans, but by combining them and for a specific purpose, protection, now I'm taking that and making it more of an amulet. Now, in this case, this amulet is not necessarily one and done kind of thing. It has that residual energy.
Right.
So I'm going to carry it with us every day, and it's going to help protect me every day.
And build your own egregore within it.
Right.
Pulling off of its inherent energy.
And this is where you can really, the waters get really muddy.
Yeah.
Depending which direction. But to me, the talisman is like the Ankh. The Ankh is the talisman. But if I take that Ankh and I put it into something else, maybe my candle work or whatever, now I'm making it more like an amulet in my spell work. But I'm just pulling on that talismanic energy and applying it into my work.
Absolutely.
Makes it a charm.
It's an added effect. Of taking something and adding it to something you're creating. You can create an amulet. And we will, and when I say we, I mean Mitchell and I. Not we as in a community, but we specifically will often say that you can create amulets and you can create charms, but you cannot create a talisman. And I had a thought on that earlier today, and we were talking about it before we started filming. And while, yes, you can, but it takes a certain amount of time, and that's very dependent on quantity, and I believe the passion, I would say, within such.
Right. Well, the focus.
The focus and the emotion behind it.
So, like we mentioned before, you create a symbol,
right,
and the symbol becomes worldwide. However, it's done, and everyone starts believing in that symbol, much like the pentacle, the cross. It has, and people so that power to it. Well, that belief within that symbol starts creating that agro-creative power. And I guess how the passion and how devotees would be, it would differ on how fast that would develop into a talisman.
Yeah. This is not something that's created overnight or in
an instant.
Yeah, but not an instant.
But it could be a year, 2 years. It just depends how strong that belief structure and how many people. If it goes worldwide, and everybody starts believing in it, then okay, it's going to get powered really quick because there's a lot of people on this planet. So there's that energy being sent to it.
And also, I believe, it's witchcraft in the modern era of we have that instant availability of sharing information, whereas things, 300 years ago took a little longer.
Yeah, you wrote a letter, you wrote a book.
You wrote a book, you wrote a letter, you were in a small village, so it went from that small village to the city, to the county,
Yeah.
to the country, and it did over generations. And it wasn't something that happened, in a week on YouTube.
You gotta love the siren in the background. It's been raining here today, so
Very much so.
So I would imagine, I'm surprised we only have one so far through the podcast. And there you talk about, the siren. Everybody recognizes that.
Can a sound be a talisman, Mitchell?
I really never thought about it.
I didn't either till you just said something about it.
Said something. I had to think on that one.
Okay.
But I would not.
I don't stump him often.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see why not.
Okay.
Like a word.
Yeah.
Word, as a sound,
Yeah.
just in written form. So, I'm not sure if you would call that a talisman or be something else.
Okay.
But I'd have to
think
on that one and do a little research on that one. So,
all right.
Say, yes, that's a talisman or not. But
one for me.
Yeah.
Like that.
But you're right. I mean, we all know that hit that siren. Oh, there's a problem. Air raid siren.
Absolutely a problem.
Take cover.
Yes.
Right? The emergency broadcasting. The tornado warnings.
Yes.
They do represent, and we all know. But I don't know if that's a belief. And I think that's the difference is there's not a belief into that. And I'm thinking about it because I hear the siren. It's not that I believe in the siren. The siren represents something that we know is a problem. But it's not a belief.
You recognize the sound, and there is an associated behavior with that sound.
Yeah, but I don't know if that would make it a talisman. Talisman has belief behind it.
You believe that there's something wrong.
Well, it's not a belief. That's going to be fact. Belief cannot be proven.
Okay, fair.
Faith.
Fair.
Faith is not proven, or they call it fact.
True.
So faith is the belief in something that is not provable.
Absolutely.
My amulet,
mm-hmm.
I believe it's going to work, therefore I power it.
Right.
The siren I don't see as a belief.
Okay.
The siren just tells me there's an issue. Air raid siren. It's not that I believe something's going to happen. Air raid siren, bombs are going to fall from the sky.
Yeah. That's fact.
Siren goes off for a tornado. That means a tornado has been spotted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not a belief. I can deny it all I want. It doesn't change the fact that it's still there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that may be our answer, that a sound cannot be a talisman.
Not in this case.
Right.
Not in how this is being applied.
Yeah.
Well, talk about we're chasing the rabbit on that one. We went down that rabbit hole.
Yes, but it was informative.
Yes, and definitely something different. So, creation.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend a little time on that creating.
Yes.
And you talked about earlier, so you want to go through about that, how you were talking about creating, how I was going to create a talisman,
Okay,
so the city, but go explain how you were talking about.
So what I thought of was, I was like, okay, let's say, for example, that I was a public speaker and I wanted to do speaking on theological equality. And I came up with a symbol, which is basically a T and with a second bar to make it look like an equal sign at the top. And I used that symbol in all my talks and all my speeches and on my website. And I uploaded my speeches to YouTube, to TikTok, to Facebook Live. So all of a sudden I've got, let's say, a million followers, and I've got a bunch of a million subscribers. My views, it's getting millions of views. So millions of people have seen this. I make that a symbol available on my website for you to download and put on, let's say, make bumper stickers out of it, little stickers to put on your little Yeti cups, t-shirts, hats, what have you. That symbol has now been seen and shared worldwide, so that I have the viewership of this and the understanding of that concept. And I think that's obviously going to take time. So I think it is possible to create a talisman. I just, like we were saying, it takes time. I don't believe it's an instant thing or overnight thing.
Like we said.
But I do believe that it is possible, whereas previously, you can, but it's going to take years and years and years and years, and people believing that and sharing that, and the city, town, country, county thing.
Yeah. And I think it's also one of the things that people stop looking at it loses power.
Absolutely.
It will still have its resonance. That's the creation of it. But yeah, definitely, an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Interesting thing to do. That's really it as far as talismans. To me, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You can create your own.
Mm-hmm.
You can, whether you're going to make it for this or that by using different symbols and different, whether you're using also spare technique to create
the sigils,
or using, other people's like Zakharov, he likes to use more graphic, more
Right.
imagery. You can create that symbol and that amulet in Paleontology energy and create what you need to do.
Right.
So, it's something, just a little bit of education, some research as you're doing it. So you're putting your symbols and you're creating your own thing, and how you employ it. Whether it's you're going to snap it and release it when it's time, or just wear it. Then okay, I feel it's done, and throw it away.
Or
Or
burn
take
it.
2 rocks and smack them together. There's all these different ways to do it. So that's just personal preference at that point.
One last point I'd like to throw out there is that when we think, or at least when I think of charms, I generally think of them in the positive. I don't necessarily think of them in the baneful or in the negative.
Yeah, well, and I don't either. Even my amulets, I generally don't look at them, although, I mean, I imagine they could. It's just if I'm going to wear something or have something, generally I don't want the
Well, that negativity.
negativity. Well, just on me, it's like it's like I don't take a sacred bath of a hexing.
Yes.
Like because I'm inside. But can you make an amulet for hexing? Well, of course you can. You can do that, and it's all against how it's being directed. Because you were saying that, I was like, okay, I may have something here that I use to call upon to do some work. So technically, that would still be a hexing, a baneful amulet. So yes, you can have them. I personally don't really go that direction.
Right.
So most of mine are always going to be positive or neutralizing or bringing good fortune or positivity into the situation.
What I had thought of was a Cornish tradition
Yes.
of the basically what they call pass along magic.
Yes.
And what that basically boils down to is someone comes to to the peller back in the day, and the wise woman at the edge of town. Hey, I got this rash. I'm having this issue. Okay, well here we're going to put this stuff in a box. We're going to seal it up. That box is we're going to put your ailment in this box. We'll seal it up. Now I want you to take this box into town, and I just want you to leave it in the shop and then walk away. So the next person comes along, thinks, oh, pretty box, opens it up. Well, now they got a rash. So they go see the wise woman, and it creates business for the wise woman back in the day. Smart marketing.
Yes.
But
The early form of marketing.
that was great. But and that made me think, okay, so charms can technically not be, they can be anything that you put the energy into them.
Right.
So, be mindful of that. Sometimes charms aren't always lucky.
It's like modern day electronics; they're never meant to last.
Exactly.
But yeah, so you can do that pass along. I've forgotten about that one. You mentioned it earlier. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot that.
I love that.
But there's a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, even if, like I said before, if I'm gonna maybe I'm doing some magic and I'll create this amulet to give me a boost of power. Maybe I'm working that. I'm working it, putting that energy into it for the right moment to do whether it's baneful or positively. You can still do that.
Create yourself a battery.
Yeah. Basically, it's it's your ethereal battery or astral battery, however you want to phrase that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that's really nuts and bolts of talismans and amulets.
It is.
I still don't know if we're ever going to do MCP live again. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But right now we have this medium, so we're going to keep using it.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this version of Magic City Pagans Meeting podcast. Remember that we're here at Books, Beans, and Candles in Birmingham, Alabama. And the shop we're open every day. So if you got questions, feel free to come by or shoot us an email. You can always message us on Facebook as well or Instagram.
Yep.
And the big thing is, we do teach classes here. Like we have Full Contact Tarot with Skaji on the 19th of this month. And it is like a 6-hour class. So it's an intensive tarot class. We also do Tea and Tarot free every Friday, first Friday of the month.
Yep.
And that allows you to come in and just enjoy, having a good time. We'll show you different spreads, and we'll work the cards, and you get to practice reading stuff. So not quite like an intensive, I am learning tarot, but it is definitely giving you practice and getting you introduced. We have a lot of always new people.
Give you some familiarity with.
We even loan decks out.
Absolutely.
So you can come do it. And of course, on September 29th, Ellen and I are going to be teaching a class on magical salves.
Yep.
And then, of course, the psychic fair. This is our annual, it's our biggie.
Yep.
And I recommend if it's something, especially if you want to use Ellen, because we'll have tarot, palmistry, ancestral readings. We've got OM, or photography. We'll have a couple of vendors outside, selling different products as well. And go throwing the bones,
Yes.
astrology. Did I miss one?
You said all of them, right?
I think so.
Okay.
We've got a lot of different forms of divination.
Multiple forms of divination.
And it's only $15 per reading.
Yeah.
So it's a good chance to come in and do a reading and get a sample of what you like and just get a chance to go through it all. So,
Absolutely.
like I said, pre-sign-ups are being taken now, so that reserves your spot in time. So that's really a good thing to do. So you're guaranteed your reading because we do sell out. So it does fill up and sell out.
Those sheets will be full.
Yep. And other than that, that's the main things coming up. Krampus is not too far, around the corner. So yes, we'll be doing Krampus again.
That's awesome.
So looking hopefully the first weekend in December for that one.
Okay.
So, but we'll actually create that time and Facebook entry and then so you can check that out. Other than that, I thank you guys very much, and you guys have a wonderful week.
All right. We'll see you guys next month.